kwa shows bab kubwa, ngoma kali, movies, documentaries, series, talk shows na vipindi vya kuchangamsha, kuelimisha na kufahamisha. Ni hapa tu Maisha Television.
You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh my God.
Unachukua the best, unatazama na unaipenda. Kwa masuala ya afya, habari kemkem, ukulima, biashara, vipindi vya watoto, hapa ni moto. Maisha TV.
Oh, there you are. Come on, come closer. Let's start this journey together. Get to know one another so we can rise together. Pick me up, hold me, feed me, but it might be messy. Change me, but it might be smelly. Be my playdate. Be my rocking chair. Be my hero.
Because every dad should play an equal role in his baby's life, Pampers is giving 8 weeks of paternity leave to their new dads, hoping to inspire others to give Kenyan dads this opportunity.
Hello 22bet.
Oya ni aje?
Poa sana.
Unasikia nenda kuingia kwa account yangu napata kuna maziwa rada?
Oh, hiyo ni Euro 2020 cashback. Tunapeana 8% kwa kila game ya Euro.
Hadi kwa kila game?
Hata zenye zimekunywa maji.
Sasa nyinyi ndio mabazeng. Itabidi nimechapia mbogi. Cheki Mamorio. Unasikia kuna 8% cashback ya nini ya Euro ya 22bet.
Get 100% bonus on your first deposit now. SMS join to 29252. 22bet. Tucheze, tushinde. 22.
Oya ni aje, mimi ndo Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumi transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igi koshi yote. Siri ni hii real mpya ya pink. Na kushow mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia aerial touch of down mpya tu.
Good evening, welcome to Maisha Prime News. My name is Rida Chebet Karim. Welcome. Senators from different counties continue mourning the late nominated Senator Victor Pringei, who died in a road accident on Monday night along Kabarak-Nakuru Road, has been eulogized as a man who beat great odds to join the Senate and was a great inspiration to the youth and marginalized groups.
It is very sad, actually. We lost two very close people in the last 2 days. Last night, we lost Senator Pringei, a nominated member from the Akie community from Nakuru County. I want to send my deepest condolences to the family of Senator Pringei. He was a very active member of Senate, young and very brilliant, and we will miss him in Senate.
Tumnaomboleza kama familia, tuna uzito mingi kwa kumpoteza huyu mpendo wetu. Hakika siku ya jana mwendo wa saa 3 a Samaritan called me and informed me that my brother was involved in an accident, and alinijulisha kwamba amepelekwa War Memorial Hospital. Then immediately I rushed to the hospital, and a few minutes on arrival, mheshimiwa akatuacha. Amejaribu kuinua ndugu na wapendwa wangu, amesaidia wazazi kwa kiwango kikubwa. Tutamkosa kabisa, tuna majuto mengi.
We will walk this journey together with the family until he is laid to rest. A committee has already been formed by the Speaker of the Senate, which will liaise with the family, and from there we will then prepare for his funeral.
You know, we've lost. This is the 4th senator that we have lost. We have lost during this session. Really, that's a high number, and we just pray that God will continue protecting those of us who have remained, so that we discharge our mandate and serve this country. So on behalf of my colleagues, I know it would have been more than we are here this morning, but quite a number of senators are out on other duties in different parts of the country.
And Kenya's sole representative in women's 400 meters, Sylvia Chelangat, hopes to progress to semi-finals as she takes on track in the event's 3rd heat at the World Under-20 Championships that began today at Kasarani Stadium. With a personal best of 55.21 seconds, Chelangat hopes to emulate Mary Mora's achievement of winning a medal in the sprints during the 2017 World Under-18 Championship at Kasarani. On the third part, Kenya's hopes of a medal in the mixed relays event at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships was dashed after the team was disqualified in the 2nd heat for lane infringement. Elkanah Kiprotich had battled to see Kenya finish 2nd behind Nigeria with their powered run in the anchor leg and were assured of a place in the final. However, a review by the Hawk-Eye cameras penalized and disqualified the Kenyan team for lane infringement. Kenya's team also had Sylvia Chelangat, Lois Morara, and Kennedy Kimeo.
I was almost getting disappointed. Then you ikanipea motisha ningangane ile siku yangu course kama ile ya kwanza imeisha hivyo. This will be my last chance. Sasa kama ningelusi hata kuna kitu ningefanya tena. Lakini nimefurahi course kama nimepita sijaipita kabisa. Napitanga 55 lakini leo nimepita 53. Nimefurahi sana. My personal best.
Sasa tungoje moto zaidi. Inaweza shuka 52.
Unajua mimi time yangu inakujanga according to competition. Kama iko highly competitive, time inakuja automatic.
First 2 through to Saturday's final. And they're away this time. Keep your eye on Habathana Ali Mohan of India. But it is a fast start from Oku of Nigeria. Looked like the Indian athlete had got a fast start, but it is all about the Nigerian Oku. She looks smooth, she looks relaxed down that back straight. As they near near the 200-metre mark. Keep your eye on Caitlin Bob on the outside as well. She's going well. We can use the lines on the track to try and assess what's going on. I think it is Uko and Bob pretty closely matched, but they will move around this final bend. So let the stag run wind. So important to pace yourself correctly in these 400 metres. Have these ladies stand there. So you can see Caitlin Bob very maturely. She's taking a look on the inside. It's first two automatically to the final. Imabogong Nisi Uko of Nigeria striding away. There's Caitlin Bob. She has eased off too early, timing her finish to perfection.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is once again trying to unite the former National Super Alliance leaders into a formidable force in the run-up to the 2022 general elections. The Commander-in-Chief is once again holding talks with One Kenya Alliance principals after just concluding a two-day meeting in Naivasha. Here is Bushebi Jr. with more details on that story.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has convened another meeting with ODM leader Raila Odinga and the One Kenya Alliance at the State of Mombasa today. The meeting comes a day after the President's Jubilee Party resolved to formally enter into a coalition pact with ODM in what sources said is a culmination of his decision to back Raila to succeed him in 2022. Uhuru met the leaders a week ago at the same venue. Insiders say this is a follow-up on the meeting, which focused on forming a formidable alliance to face off with the Deputy President of Kenya, William Ruto, in the next year's general election.
Najua ya kwamba wale watu wa seminar na retreat na conference wanataka tena kuanza hiyo mambo ya seminar. Ati wanakutana waweze kupanga vile wanaume 5-6 wanaweza kugawana mamlaka na vyeo. Mimi nataka niwaambie kwa unyenyekevu kwamba wakati mnapanga kugawana mamlaka na vyeo, kuna Wakenya zaidi ya milioni 15 ambao wanatarajia nafasi za kazi, nafasi ya biashara, nafasi ya kuzalisha chakula, ndio tuweze kutembea zote kama Wakenya.
Kuna wale ambao wameiba mali ya umma. Wakishaiba mali ya umma, wanarudi nayo kwa wananchi. Wanakwenda ati wanataka vikundi ya kina mama wafanye harambee. Wafanye harambee kwa vijana. Wanunua magari kwa shule, mabasi. Ati waende kwa makanisa. Wafanye michango huko. Sawa sawa?
Yesterday, Jubilee wrote to the 4-1 Kenya Alliance affiliate parties, informing them of its decision to enter into a pact with ODM, while informing that they were free to join in the spirit of fostering national cohesion. At the same time, Odinga met his close allies in Nakuru yesterday as One Kenya Alliance principals separately converged to hammer a separate coalition deal in Naivasha. The former Prime Minister, who is also the leader of the Orange Democratic Party, stormed Nakuru in one of his missions to solidify his political base across the country in a strategy meeting with select troops drawn from the Orange Party and the President's ruling Jubilee. Odinga addressed a series of roadside rallies before heading for a meeting with local leaders led by Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui. According to sources, the game plan entails thawing opposition against Raila's candidature within the One Kenya Alliance before he is finally unveiled as the team's flag bearer. Kalonzo and Mudavadi have repeatedly indicated they will not back Raila again, having supported his bid in 2013 and 2017, insisting that they can only work with the former premier if he was ready to back one of them. Yesterday, the Jubilee's National Management Committee, NMG, and parliamentary leadership held a consultation that instructed the Secretariat to sign a deal with ODM. Sources say that Jubilee's decision to prioritize the pact with ODM was informed by ODM's numerical strength in parliament as well as its support base across the country. ODM enjoys support in Nyanza, Western, Nairobi, Coast, Masailand, and other regions. Its elected leaders in parliament and counties are more than the combined numbers of ANC, Wiper, Ford Kenya, and KANU. Jubilee also wrote to ANC and Ford Kenya over the decision, citing their good working relationship in parliament. The ruling outfit informed the two parties that its doors remained open for possible engagement in ensuring national cohesion. KANU Secretary General Nick Salat had on Sunday said the One Kenya Alliance cannot ignore ODM leader Raila Odinga in its game plan and accused a section of principals of taking hard stance on who should be the flag bearer. For Prime News, Maisha Television, Ambushabi Jr.
And still in politics, a section of Jubilee members of parliament are now demanding a total overhaul of the ruling party's leadership over the proposed merger between the ODM and Jubilee parties. Speaking after a meeting in Kiambu County, the group, which includes MPs and MCAs from central Kenya, say they have embarked on a clean-up exercise of the Jubilee House, a process that will culminate in far-reaching changes at party's top leadership.
As a Jubilee political party, we've gone to the ground, we've heard our people, we know the challenges. I think it's open to Kenyans what is ailing Jubilee. But we as the elected members of parliament, we want to strengthen our party from the grassroots. And if our grassroots people will say this is the people we want or we don't want this other, we will follow them. So at this level, we want to strengthen our party. We want to have a strong party so that any other person who is coming to negotiate with us or with our party leader then will find a party that is a strong party. We all know the challenges we have had in Jubilee. We had part of our colleagues who left and joined other political parties. So for us is to strengthen the party first.
Pale ambao hawaja kuwa wakifuata zile taratibu za chama, hatujataja mtu binafsi kwa sababu nimesikia ukisema nani na nani, hatujataja mtu binafsi, lakini tumesema kwamba wale ambao hawaja kuwa wakiambatana na maazimio ya chama, tutahakikisha kwamba tumefuata zile taratibu ambazo zimewekwa katika kanuni na katiba yetu ya chama. Na tumesema kwamba tutaanza kule chini, tutaanza na kule kwa ward, tutafute wale officials wa chama ambao wamesimama imara, kwa sababu wale ambao wameondoka wa UDA na wengine lazima tuhakikishe kwamba tumereplace wao. Tutoke kwa ward tukuje kwa constituency. Tukitoka kwa constituency tunakuja kwa county. Tukitoka kwa county, for sure there will be the national delegate conference.
And now to matters security. Insecurity cases arising from unresolved communal land issues in Baringo County will soon be history following the launch of a digital land registry in the area. The land's chief administrative secretary, Alex Mwiru, says fast-tracking registration of communal land will see more areas mapped in the county. He said this will enable residents carry out development activities without any fear of eviction by incapacitated individuals.
Land is a complex issue and it's also very emotive. Land borders even issues to do with security if they are not managed properly. So the more reason why we as a ministry, we need, and as a county, we need to plan more on this particular resource.
In this year, on July 30th, we received 21,000 title deeds, which is a big boost in our county. We expect at the end of the year or at the end of the calendar year, with your support, to also issue another 20,000 title deeds.
Najua kuna sehemu ambapo watu wanakuamuzana sana wakati wa upanzi wa mimea, kwa sababu sehemu hizi hazijafanyiwa usorovea na watu hawana vyeti vya kumiliki. Sasa tumeletewa hii kazi, tushirikiane, tuache yale mambo yetu ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba kazi imefanyika vizuri kwa haraka iwezekanavyo ili tuweze kupatiwa vyeti vya kumiliki mashamba.
There are a number of lands in this country which have been encroached by private entities, and our work is to work and secure those lands. Maybe also in Baringo we have such examples. We will be working with the county government if there are circumstances to ensure that we curtail any encroachment.
So that is what we are looking forward to, have the communities either transit but also get their titles so as they can be able to manage the land for themselves, with themselves, by themselves.
And police in Kitengela are investigating an incident in which a mother killed her 2-year-old daughter and then committed suicide. The 31-year-old Rimu Masharia murdered is said to have left behind a suicide note accusing her husband of infidelity.
Kuna mama na mtoto wake wamekufa kwa nyumba.
According to the apartment caretaker, Geoffrey Wambua,
nilishtukia serikali imeingia kwa hizi plot. Kuelezea ni nini, hakuna mtu alikuwa anajua. Ndio mwishowe baadaye tuliona miili miwili imetolewa kwa nyumba A31.
Wakati tulipofika tukaambiwa ya kwamba wakaenda kazini. Na mama naye akapea msichana wa kazi ruhusa kutembea ama ku off. So wakati mwendo wa saa 9 jioni, msichana aliporudi nyumbani akakuta milango imefungwa na akapigia mzee akiwa kazini ya kwamba mama alikuwa amepea ruhusa na amerudi amekuta milango imefungwa. Mzee naye akakuja kutoka kwa kazini kwa sababu alikuwa na vifungo vingine, akafungua milango. Ndani akakuta mtoto ako kwa kitanda amekufa. Kwa bathroom mama akakuta amejihang kwa bathroom. Na pia tukapata katika uchunguzi ambao tulianza tukaona kwamba kulikuwa na suicide note. Mama akilaumu bwana kwa mpango wa kando. So mpaka hapo tunaendelea na uchunguzi kujua kiini cha hayo mauaji.
Now to education. Secondary schools in Bungoma County are grappling with congestion as pressure on institutions to admit huge number of mounts despite lack of enough school infrastructures. Naburerea Secondary School is one of the institutions that is facing acute shortage of classrooms and dormitories, with the school principal now appealing to the relevant authorities to intervene.
Kwa majina naitwa Bi Irene Kiti Otiula, nikiwa mwalimu mkuu wa shule ya upili ya St. Anthony na Brerea. Ni shule ambaye ni mixed day school. Form 1 admission tunaendelea vizuri. Tulikuwa tunatarajia wanafunzi 135 lakini wamefika 124. Tunashukuru wazazi ambao wamejaribu wakakajikamkamua, ingawaje hali ni ngumu, wakatuletea wanafunzi. Pia sisi kama shule tuna changamoto ambayo inaandamana na hiyo idadi ya wanafunzi ni wengi, kwa vile tunatakana kuongeza streams, lakini pesa ya infrastructure ambayo tunapata haitoshi kuongeza madarasa kwa kasi, kwa hiyo mwendo ya vile population inakuwa. Kwa hivyo pia CDF wamekuwa wakitusaidia, ikiwa wanaweza endelea kutusaidia tukaweza kujenga madarasa mengine ili wanafunzi wapate mahali pa kusoma vizuri na waweze kujijenga kwa maisha yao ya mbele. Ningependa kushukuru wanafunzi pia ni watulivu, hawana maneno, wamejaribu kujikakamua vilivyo katika kujaribu kuingia kwa shule ya sekondari. Ningependa kuwarai wazazi waweze kuweza kutilia masomo maanani ili waweze pia kutafuta njia zingine ambazo wanaweza saidia wanafunzi wao kukaa shuleni, kwa sababu wanatakana atakuwa tunakubali malipo kupitia kwa vyakula, kupitia kwa materials zile ambazo wanaweza kando na fedha. So ningependa wao wajikakamue, kwa sababu ni wakulima, wajaribu kutumia njia za muundo kisasa kuweza kufanya hiyo ukulima ili wasaidie katika fedha kuweza kulipa, ili waiwezeshe kuwaweka wanafunzi wao shuleni na pia kuwanunulia vifaa ambavyo wanahitaji ili kuhitimu kwa masomo yao.
And since the reporting of the first COVID-19 case in Kenya, businesses have been struggling with hard economic times occasioned by restrictions and guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health. Bushebi Jr. compiled a comprehensive feature featuring a salonist, Celestine, who is located in Bungoma County. Let's have a look.
COVID crisis is impacting industries this year as the virus forces so many businesses in the counties to close their doors. Bungoma County, as we all know, has been hard hit amidst a struggle for many traders to stay afloat. Celestine is a saloonist in the heart of Bungoma town.
Kwa majina naitwa Celestine Olo. Mimi ni mkazi wa Aldrex. Na mimi ni saloonist hapa.
Her business, located in Aldrex Estate in the town, more than a year into the pandemic, and she has been fighting to hang by a thread.
Sahii kusema ukweli kazi imekuwa mbaya sana, iko chini. Kulingana na customer venye wanaingia, customer anakuja anaanza kulia, hakuna pesa, hakuna. Sasa hata kumfanyia service unafanyia tu service yenye iko chini 200 100, na hiyo pesa sasa hata hakuna mali na kusaidia kama sasa kulipa rent hapa na mahitaji ya nyumbani, labda nini, watoto shule, imekuwa ngumu kidogo.
COVID-19 has made Celestine, who is unable to perform her normal functions while abiding by social distancing and other prudent public health practices.
Biashara ya salon inakuanga ni kazi mzuri sana, kazi yenye inalipa, kazi yenye unaweza tegemea, lakini kwa sasa hivi corona tangu ingie imekuwa shida sana. Kwanza venye kumekuwa na curfew, mnakimbizana na polisi. Saa hiyo customer ameingia anatoka job, unataka umfanyie kazi, umeshinda bila kazi. Saa hiyo customer anataka umtengeneze, curfew imefika. Hapo ilituadhiri kidogo. Tunaomba tu serikali kama mnaweza tusaidia, tuangalie sana watu wa salon, tuko saa hivi tuko shida sana.
Through these direct effects on household livelihoods, it has led to ripple effects on her business that might nonetheless be able to operate safely, but which face lower demand for her services.
Customer sayata ukiangalia hakuna customer. Sasa ni kukuja kufungua mlango, kukaa, ufunge urudi nyumbani. Hakuna customer, kuonekana tu mmoja mmoja tu, lakini sasa hata kila mtu amezoea maisha kuchana nywele, wengine wananyoa. Nasema kazi pesa haiko. Ile kitu sisi tunafanya, customer kiingia una sanitize tu mkono, kama ni kuosha unaosha, una sanitize, alafu tunaendelea na biashara. Customer kimshuka lazima mtakuwa tu hapo karibu na yeye. Huwezi sema ati mkono umetupa mbali na unashuka. Hapo naye ni uongo. Hapo 1 meter hiyo naye atufai.
Small retailers could be affected in both ways, unable to conduct business without the risk of exposure and infection on the one hand, while potentially facing reduced demand on the other. Small businesses are a major part of Kenya's economy. Nearly a quarter of them today remain closed, made losses, or experienced some form of cash flow hemorrhage. Celestine, who has lived and worked in Bungoma town for years, has to look for all possible means to continue with business while still following the health measures.
Kwanza mambo ya mask ndio imeleta shida. Napata customer amekuja, unataka kumuosha, mask iko kwa mapua na unataka kuchukua paka huku, unashindwa. Mtu anataka kunyoa, mwanaume anataka kunyoa madevu, ako na mask, utamnyoa aje kweli? Imekuwa shida sana.
Over the next months, business owners will still have to tighten their belts to make ends meet, regardless of the state's partial reopening of the country.
Sisi watushukishie tu chakula tukishuka, sisi biashara itaendelea tu sawa. Economy iko juu, vitu zimepanda, vitu zirudi chini. Juu sasa hata tukisema tutaletewa msaada, hiyo msaada itatufikia, italiwa tu uko juu. Sasa economy, watu serikali punguza sukari, mkate, chumvi, sukari na mafuta ziko juu sana bwana. Unga imepanda, hii machakula ishuke chini, hata na sisi tu biashara itaendelea sawa. Mtu akipata chakula anaona saa kuja ngare.
The novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected the global community, and like most countries, Kenya has not been spared.
Sema ukweli, economy imepanda juu sana. Sasa mtu anaona badala enda haribu hii pesa kushuka na watoto wako nyumbani wanataka kula, mtu afadhali aenda anunue chakula. Na ni ukweli, hata sasa isinabidi mtu aparare lakini watoto wakule, ama aenda alipie watoto shule. Changamoto sahi sasa, kama tuko hapa tumefungua mlango ya wenyewe nataka kulipwa, landlord pia ataelewa. Sasa ni kidogo biashara imekuwa chini, biashara iko chini sana, kila mwana biashara analia.
According to one study, Kenya's international trade performance, its financial and commodity markets, and the entire macroeconomic environment have all been affected. For Prime News, Maisha Television, it's Bushabi Jr.
Thank you so much for keeping me company throughout the bulletin. That's all you had for Maisha Prime News. My name is Rida Chebet Kering, and it is Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we'll talk about issues concerning women. So make sure you tune in after this bulletin. I'll be coming back with Maisha Prime Talk Women Edition.
Maisha is getting an exciting makeover. We're giving your channel a dedicated touch to enhance your viewing experience. Finding what you want, loving it has never been this easy.
Build your capacity. The problem is leadership.
My name is Rida Chebet Kering.
Welcome home to your dedicated channel, where you choose it, watch it, and love it. It's your season.
Kwa shows bab kubwa, ngoma kali, movies, documentaries, series, talk shows na vipindi vya kuchangamsha, kuelimisha na kufahamisha, ni hapa tu Maisha Television.
You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh my God.
Unachukua the best, unatazama na unaipenda. Kwa masuala ya afya, habari kemkem, ukulima, biashara, vipindi vya watoto, hapa ni moto. Maisha TV.
Good evening, glad you could join us tonight for Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. I'm your host, Rida Chebet, and tonight our topic is gender bias. Gender bias is a behavior that shows favoritism towards one gender over another, and according to research done this year by Women Deliver, which is an organization based in USA, most often it is men who are favored over women. Let me narrow it down to our country. The big question is, are women experiencing gender inequality? And I'm throwing this question to you, viewer. Have you experienced the same in your place of work? Unequal pay, positional bias, sexual harassment, outdated views, terminations? Engage with us by texting or call 0746 999 841. We're also live on our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. And today I'm joined by Irene Momo, who is an expert on family and women issues. She is a counselor, and above all, she is a mother. So when it comes to family matters, dealing with teenagers and office life, definitely she is well experienced. Karibu sana Irene.
Asante sana, nashukuru.
So last time we were talking about women in leadership, and today I want us to talk more, to narrow it down to a more serious topic, that is gender inequality in offices, in leadership positions. Are women experiencing discrimination in leaderships, or have you experienced the same?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's really coming right on time, because we know women have really experienced a lot of discrimination and not being treated as they're supposed to be treated, or equally as the male counterparts are being treated. So it's okay. Women have really been discriminated, but on my side, not really so much, because I've been in a position where people get to understand each other. You know, we are coming from a church organization where we really value being equal. And so at least from the church level, we can say not much, but still we can experience the same. Yeah. So I have experienced it a little bit. And again, I know out there, we've seen it being practiced several times. So it's there.
Okay, so according to you, you can say that even in church organizations, there is discrimination of women.
Yeah, it is. And it is very rampant in the church as well, because we know that is where the genesis of everything also starts, because we get to understand that women are supposed to keep quiet, as I think I mentioned that the other time we were talking about this. Yeah. So women are supposed to keep quiet, especially in the church, according to those people who understand it in that level. But otherwise, we know that as we are continuing to grow, as women, as men in the society, we are starting to understand that we really need to embrace each other in terms of putting us in equal positions, so that we can really run every other organization or whatever positions that we have, so that we are effective in delivering whatever we want to deliver. Yeah.
Okay, and now coming back to the leadership of the country, yes, we can see that Kenya has really done well in trying to ensure that this issue of gender equality is enhanced by introducing laws like in the Chapter 4 of the Constitution, that is the Bill of Rights. It states that every person is equal before the law and has the rights to equal protection and benefits of the law. Women and men have the right to equal treatment, including the right to equal opportunities in political, economic, cultural and social sphere. And we saw that the Judicial Service Commission did a good job by appointing a woman to one of the biggest positions in Kenya. Sure. But despite all this, even formation of a commission, that are National Gender Inequality Commission, to beat this vice of gender inequality, we see that Kenya is still ranked among the countries with the highest number of gender inequality at 83%, followed by India 81%. What is the reason, and what could the country be doing wrong?
First of all, I would start by really appreciating the government of Kenya for whatever they've done in terms of constitutional emphasis on really what women really need to do, and how they've elevated them to give them positions so that they can work equally as men. And as you read from Chapter 4 of the Constitution, it's something that has really helped women to get out there and do a lot in terms of delivery to the society, or delivering to the society. And so I would say what we really still need to do is to embrace our Constitution and see that we can effectively work according to the laws or the Constitution that is laid down, so that we can really have the best in terms of delivering, in terms of women also being given positions and doing what they really need to do as women. So as you have said that, I think what we still need to do is to follow up the laws, that is the Constitution of the nation, of the government, so that we can really break it down to what it needs to be. So you've read that, and I think everybody has understood that women really need to be given positions of leadership, so that they can also deliver as they need to deliver, as the men men are also doing. Yeah. Okay, I think from the background that we come from as Kenyans, that's why we are really so much affected, because we know from, you've mentioned cultural and all that stuff. So we know that culturally, we were in a position where women were only allowed to do things that they are allowed to do. So otherwise, they were not allowed to do any other thing. And so that has really been carried forward to even our places of work, our institutions. And so you find that it's very difficult for us to see that we can also give women equal opportunity when it comes to places of work, when it comes to running whatever organizations that they might be running. And so that is why we are really affected, even after the constitution has been given that we can give women equal opportunity in their places of work. So what we really still need to work on is our cultural values in terms of women in leadership. And that means we need to start drifting from where we used to be and then trying to now come back to what we really need to do now. Because we see that if we continue basing on what we used to have in terms of our culture, then we'll find women out of the picture completely, even if the laws will be there. Because, you know, sometimes culturally things are very stronger than you can say in the law. So you find that when culturally this is what we believed in, sometimes erasing it by putting the law is something that is very, very difficult. But if we understand from where we are coming from and the times now, the times that we are living in, we'll find that it will be very easier for us to put it aside and then start giving women the opportunity that they need so that they can serve. Yeah.
Well, and what can we do to kill our cultural backgrounds? Because, you know, there's specific tasks that are zimewekwa hiyo ni specifically for women in ya wanaume. Huwezi ukaenda ukaambia mwanamke sana sana, wanaume sana sana tuseme mashambani, osha vyombo, fagia nyumba, osha mtoto. They know that those are the specific tasks for women. What can we do to kill that perception?
I've mentioned the times now, and when I talk about times, I'm referring to these times where we are giving the girl child and the boy child, because that's where it starts from. Equal opportunities in terms of school, and so that is education. That is, so it means if they are doing the same, let me say, subjects and, you know, programs that are running through, then they need to also be given equal opportunities in terms of their places of work. Because if I've been in an engineering class, then why is it that when time for a job comes, only those people who are male are given opportunities and not the female? So if this is what we are doing, because if we can be nurturing our children in terms of these kind of professions, we train them to be engineers, we train them to be scientists, then if that is the case, then give them equal opportunities also in the society, because otherwise it will be useless for us to give them that kind of education, and then when it comes to places of work, we don't do that. So you've just mentioned about our culture and how we can kill this. I know, yes, our culture dictates that, but our times today, as we look into how we are doing things even from home, we find that even the boy child now is being introduced to doing things at home. So if it is washing plates and doing all that stuff, you find that even the male child is also being trained in the same thing. Because as I think I mentioned this the other time, we were talking about women in leadership, and we said that, you know, even that boy child back there at home, he needs to be given the same treatment as the girl child. That is to see that they can also do all these things as equally as they're supposed to do them, because we know when it comes to job, even a man will train as somebody who is doing what we call cooking or whatever they call it. So you can train in that, and so if you can do that as a man, then it also means that this lady, because she's been trained to be an engineer, she should be given that opportunity to be an engineer. So as we start it back at home, and that's why I've been mentioning the times now, when we are treating the girl child, the boy child, we treat them equally. So let us give them equal opportunities in terms of work.
Yeah, and do you think that greater representations of women in public offices as provided by the Constitution, that is the three-third gender balance, something like that, do you think that introducing the representation will help Kenya achieve its gender equality goals?
Of course, it should, because if already it has been described in the law, then that is what they are aiming at. So that is their goal, so that women can also be well represented in leadership. And so this is what we should be working towards. I know it's something that is still very difficult for us to achieve, but as we have also put it in the law, then it means we should work towards the same, because we need to make sure that our laws are effected. So yes, if they are putting many women in positions of leadership, leadership according to the law, then that is what we are looking forward to achieving, and we should achieve it at last. So yes, I know it is, as I've said, maybe it's really challenging depending on the culture and to which we are coming from, but we've seen the government really trying. And so even us, these individual people who are in offices, who are in places of administration, please try to see that women are also given equal opportunity, and if they are given positions, they should be supported, because we've seen many a times they are given positions and then you start hearing of the cries that I'm given such a position and then I'm not allowed to work up to a certain level. So you see, that is like trying to push them behind even if you've given them that position. So it is like we are trying to show that we are doing this, but in reality when we come to it, we find that we are not really doing it, because we frustrate the women so much. So those people who are in positions, who are allowing women to be in this position, please make sure that you give them the support that they need in terms of what you are saying, maybe salary. If the men are being given a certain amount of money in the same level of leadership, then women should also be given. And if there's a certain kind of job that needs to be done, let's not say that I think this woman cannot do this. I think if she's been given that position, let her be given that opportunity to do the same, because we know women are strong if they're allowed to experience or to be in practice of what they are doing. They are very strong, because they are people who come with their with their all when it comes to doing something. Yeah. So I know if they are given those opportunities and supported well, they can do what they need to do.
Well, and there's this issue of positional biasness where they favor one gender over the other in positions. Like utapata wanapea mwanaume position flani because they say that a woman is not reliable, like on a familia, she'll always be busy. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I know that is something that we sometimes as women we feel like, okay, now what do we do? But I know, as I've said, women are very strong in terms of if they are given something to do, they really know how to balance their times. I mean, as in balance their let me say, whatever they are doing. So if I have to be as a mother, as I've said, I'm a mother, I have to be as a mother at a certain time, then the other time I know it is my office work or whatever I have to do. I know as a woman how to plan myself, how to organize myself so that I don't eat into another time. So women can do this if they are given the enough support that they need to do this. So what I say is that women, please, let us also not let them down when they are giving us those positions to work out what we really need to do. Then show your best or do your best, because this is where they'll know that women can do this. So those women who are given this, I know that there are things that sometimes cannot be avoided, but even those people who are giving us positions, they know that sometimes we really need to have our time, but that is a specified time that we are going to be given. But when we are given that position to do and to deliver what in terms of maybe a job or whatever we are doing, then I know that women can do this. So what we need to do as women also is that when we are given such positions, don't get back. Please, can you stand up and show that you can do this? So I know it is doable, and women can do this if they are given the enough support that they need, so that they can do this. So that the discrimination, as we were saying, I think you're trying to cite back to this, that sometimes we are given a position, but when it comes to specific jobs, we are told that women cannot do this, maybe because of this and that. But this is where I'm also urging these women in leadership. If you're given position, know that you've already been given that position. Can you do your best? Because you've gone to school for this. I know you've learned this, and I know women can always do their best if they are given the chance to do it. So women, if you are in that position, I'm still urging you on, can you do your best, so that men cannot say that maybe they cannot do this. I know you can do it. Please go for it.
Yeah, and talking about positions, also you see that most women, before they're given positions or being promoted, you see that there's issue of sexual harassment, and mostly it affects women more than men.
Yeah.
What could be the reason to all this?
The reason is obvious. Like when we see women in certain places, they are taken as what do we say, instruments of I don't want to say that word, but please. Yeah, instruments of sex, maybe. So whenever men would see women in certain places, they would think they can be used in that direction. And so if there is any resistance from women, you see that there is something that now we call harassment, because you'll be forced to do this. But I will still go back to these women, because it's about you as a woman. Can you speak out? Because most of the time we try to get intimidated and say, okay, if this is my boss doing this, then now what do I do? You have to stand above that and tell these people that we are not going to be used in that direction. If I came here to work, then I'm working, not to do any other thing, because there is no reason why you should treat me differently from the male counterpart simply because I'm a woman. You want to harass me, you want to get me to do things that I need not to do. I think it is my right not to do what you want me to do when it is not supposed to be done. So women in places of work, if you're being sexually harassed, please, even if it means it costs you your job, I think it will help other people in other places to know that women are not supposed to be used in that direction. It will be an example to others, because when people see what you stood out against, then they'll realize that, you know what, we really need not to do this. Yeah. So if we are going to get women who are going to speak against this, who are going to stand out and say that, you know, we came here to work and we are not going to allow to be harassed, then other people in other offices will also know that women are standing out and they are refusing to be used just as instruments of sexual whatever that men would want to do. Yeah.
Okay, and now our last question before we go for a short commercial break. Yeah. You are a woman leader and you're based in a religion organization. Have you ever experienced any gender-related roadblocks?
Yeah, of course, yes, because we know, I just did mention that from the background that we come as a church also, we know that in so many church setups, we found out that not many women are allowed to be in places where we can say they are leaders. And so this has really also affected me in one way or the other, because we go to different places. Maybe where I come from, people can understand. But when we go to different places, we find that other people would treat you like, how come we have a woman amongst men in this place of leadership? And so when this comes out, you find that they don't even want to talk to you. They try to play it as if you're not there. So even if they're asking a question, it's not directed to you, you know, because they want you to feel like you're out of place so that you can just leave that place. So I've experienced this, but what I know is that the culture that we are having is still not allowing us, and it's what is giving us a lot of roadblocks, as you've said, but we can work on it. And as I've said, those women in places of work or in places of leadership, please, can you stand up so that when people see that this is something that can be done, then they can follow suit and do the right thing. But if you're going to keep quiet, or if you're in your place of leadership and then you're like, you still always hold the behind seat, then you'll find that people will not know that women can also be in places of leadership and do their best. So please, can you stand up? Because what has really helped me is that when such things would arise, I would try to get a chance so that I can present what I have. And when you present that, people will look at it and say, this is a woman doing this. I think, okay, so things are getting different. And so from that point, you see that they're starting to relate differently, because now they realize that there's something that you can do that even better than what men can do. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this issue also I've seen many people talking about it, where when a woman tries to stand out in church, some people will start quoting some scriptures, you know, women are not supposed to talk, women are not supposed to be above men. How do those people deal with that?
I think as in church setup or religious places, we know that this has also been there. But what we need to do is when such things come, handle them with a lot of care, because, you know, as women sometimes we're also very emotional, and when we are faced with such situations, we bring out our emotions. But what I would advise any other woman there that maybe has gone through this or would at some point would experience this, is that please, can you handle this with care in such a way that if that is what they want, can you give them room, to do what they want to do? And when your time comes to present what you have, please, can you present it until when the men look at it, they say that, please, can we give her another chance? You know, that's what we usually do. Because otherwise, if you try to show yourself stronger, especially when they're still up and also wanting to show that you are not supposed to be there, then nobody will understand any other person. But what you need to do is that, can you give them their chance? They do what they want to do. But when your time comes to do what you really have to do, then do your best. And so that will earn you that position of being in leadership, even when they didn't want you to be there.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to put a pause there for this first session, but we will be coming back and continue sending your views, your text at 0746 999 841. You can also call in. You can also leave your comment on our social media platforms, YouTube Maisha Television Kenya and Facebook Maisha Television Kenya. We are taking a short break. We'll be coming back.
Let's get ready to rumble! Your world of Maisha is getting an exciting makeover. We're giving your channel a dedicated touch to enhance your viewing experience. Finding what you want, loving it has never been this easy.
Build your capacity. The problem is leadership.
My name is Rida Chebet Kering.
Welcome home to your dedicated channel, where you choose it, watch it, and love it. It's your season.
Oh, there you are. Come on, come closer. Let's start this journey together. Get to know one another so we can rise together. Pick me up, hold me, feed me, but it might be messy. Change me, but it might be smelly. Be my playdate. Be my rocking chair. Be my hero.
Because every dad should play an equal role in his baby's life, Pampers is giving 8 weeks of paternity leave to their new dads, hoping to inspire others to give Kenyan dads this opportunity.
Hello 22bet.
Oya, ni aje?
Poa sana.
Unasikia nenda kuingia kwa akaunti yangu napata kuna maziwa rada?
Oh, hiyo ni Euro 2020 cashback. Tunapeana 8% kwa kila game ya Euro.
Hadi kwa kila game?
Hata zenye zimekunywa maji.
Sasa nyinyi ndio mabazeng. Itabidi hadi nimechapia mbogi. Cheki Mamorio. Unasikia kuna 8% cashback ya nini ya Euro ya 22bet.
Get 100% bonus on your first deposit now. SMS join to 29252. 22bet. Tucheze, tushinde.
Oya, ni aje? Mino Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igikosi yote. Siri ni hii Ariel mpya ya pink. Na kusho mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia Ariel touch of down mpya tu.
Welcome back. Remember, this is Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. I'm your host, Rida Chebet Kering, and I'm joined by Irene Momo. And our topic today is gender equality. And you can join the conversation by visiting our social media platforms. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Twitter and Instagram at Maisha TV KE. You can also text in or call 0746 999 841. And now, going to our topic, I want to take us back. Do you think that the way a person is raised comes to affect the way they treat people? That's why there's increase in gender inequality.
Yeah, it's very true the way we are raised, and as we had mentioned about the culture, I know that so many of us have really been raised in an environment where there are certain chores are supposed to be done by women, and then there are others that are supposed to be done by men. And so because of that, we find that even in our places of work, there are things we think women cannot do. And so when it comes to that, it really puts us in a position where men also, it's very automatic for them to treat women as they treat them, because that is what they were used to do even when they are in their homes or in their places of residence. So you find that this has really been a very big problem for us to also handle, and we know that as we get into that further and further, we find that our community cannot, or our society will not really develop well. But still, as we were talking about the same, we still have enough time to still deal with this from where we are coming from. And so as we are raising our children up today, it's good that we raise them up as children, not as female or male, so that when they come to their places of work, they would also want to practice the same. And so we know if we are going to do this well from now or from whatever time we would want to do it, then it will really change things in terms of our places of work and also in leadership. And so when we are citing this, we also remember that it has been something that we cannot say it's wrong to do that. But as we have talked about this, we know that when we get to our education places, or places where we offer education, we find that we don't treat people differently. And so this should continue even up to our places of leadership, because we know if we are going to educate our children equally, then why is it that when it comes to our places of work or our places of leadership, we treat them differently? So that is where we are coming from now. Somebody would really be asking that why is it that if that is what used to happen, that is how we used to treat our children, then now we are treating them differently. We know that the education thing has come in, and now we also have to deal with it as it comes, because now times have dictated us to do what we are doing. And so as men, maybe as you are trying to do this maybe in your places of leadership, can you think that, or remember that when we were in school, we were doing these things together? Because I've seen these people, these chaps in colleges and all this stuff in universities, they do things together. If it comes to, they are doing their research, they are doing their whatever. Why don't they say that you are women or you are whatever, can you sit there so that we can do this for you? But now when it comes to places of work, we start doing it differently. So how we were raised is a big issue, and that is why we are saying even today, when we want to raise our children, can we raise them as children, not as male and female? Because when we do that, we find that there's going to be a problem when it comes to our places of leadership or our places of work. And I know as I'm doing this, somebody's saying that if that is what we are going to do, then what is going to happen? Because we are seeing in the near future where maybe women will be saying, now we don't want to be women, we want to be men now. Yeah, but I know that as we are raising children from down, we have a foundational way of raising children in terms of, you know, their children, but not male and female. But it comes to a level where now we have a woman, a child who has grown into a woman, and a child who has grown into a man. So when this time comes, I know it is a time that now we have to really tell them and specify for them their chores in terms of what they are expecting in the future. But I know that one is not going to erase the foundation that they had as they were being raised as children when they were young. So this is just to specify what they are going to do, because I know even in those places of work and places of leadership, we know that everybody has a department. If I'm in this department, I'm not going to go to the other department. So it is like now we are trying to introduce our children. When they come to that level of being a man and a woman, we are giving them departments of working or departments of, you know, whatever they're going to expect in future. So we have to first raise them as give them that foundation as children, and then now when they come up to that level where we have to give them departments, then that is now the time when we introduce this. So I'm trying to say that we are going to do this so that we don't have issues of women discrimination, or men, even men are being discriminated maybe at one point or the other. So we are not going to have that, because our children have a foundation of knowing that we were raised as one person in terms of we are not just male and female, but we are children. And so when they come from that background, they'll understand even when it comes to places of leadership.
Yeah, and why is this gender equality important? Because we are really pushing for it, and you see in the past, during our grandparents' time, there are just specific things women will do, men do. Why is it important? Why are we pushing for it now?
The reason why we are pushing for it, I think I've also touched on that, is because times have really dictated. Because now we've introduced something we call education, which maybe then wasn't really, as we can call it, education. It was something that we were just raising our children and really telling them what they need to do as people who are growing up. So we did know that as a girl child, this is how you're going to be raised until you become a woman in your home, and you are home, not in the office. And so men were expected that as they were being raised as men, they were being raised as men to also be leaders in the society. But now we see a place where, when we introduce this going to school and all that stuff, even the female child is supposed to go to school, and when she goes to school, she's going to be taught about leadership. And if she's taught about leadership, what is she going to do with it? She has to be a leader one way or the other. So if this is what we've introduced, then we also have to embrace it when it comes to that position of leadership. So we are stressing on the same, because we are taking our children to school. We are not taking them to school so that they can come and sit at home. Though I know that even at home you have to be leaders, even if you are a woman leader in your home. Yes, but even in those places of work, because now we open up for these children, for girl child to also be a leader in the society. So if this is the case, then we also have to find a docket where this woman is going to fit. Because if she's going to be a leader in the society, then she was educated to be a leader, let her be a leader. Why is it that when time comes for her to be a leader, then now we start pushing her aside that, you know, you can't do this, you can't go up to this level? No, I think that should not be the case. So as we are teaching our children to be leaders in schools, and like then in the society, when we did know that as we are raising this girl child, she's going to be a mother at home. So she was raised as a leader though at home, but now we are raising her and educating her to be a leader at home as well as in our places of, you know, institutions and all that stuff. So if this is what we are doing, then let us give them room to do the same. So that is why we are pushing for that.
Well, and in your experience as a Bible tutor and also as a leader in church, do you think that the Bible or the religion supports this gender equality?
I would say yes, because as we are teaching the Bible, we are teaching the Bible in terms of we are human beings. We are, in fact, we call ourselves men or children of God. And as I've said, when you talk about children, you are not going to specify this is a girl child or a boy child. We are training ourselves as children. So when we talk of ourselves as children of God or men of God, this is how we refer to ourselves. So that means we are trying to put ourselves in a position where we are equal. Though I know when I'm talking about this in terms of the Bible, I know of also those areas of leadership in different positions in terms of a woman and a man. And this is so much dictated in the Word of God in terms of what we are going to do, but specifically at home. But when we come to our places of work, our places where we are experiencing, I mean, this is leadership and all that stuff, we can work as one. And this is why in the Bible we are shown that a woman, she's a little bit under the man, yes, but they can do things together. Remember, the Bible talks about, you know, the woman is the one who runs the home, is the one who takes care of the husband. This is just to help this husband do things, you know, that maybe we tend to think that the woman cannot do. But you know, when I'm helping you to do something, who is doing that thing? In reality, yeah. So what we usually say, because even the Bible talks about it, that a woman was a helper. That is what the Bible quotes. And when the woman is a helper, you find that a woman is the one who does so much to support this man to do this. And so when the man stands up as if he's done this, it's the woman in reality who has done it, because she's made sure that everything that supports him to do this is okay. And if somebody can support you to do something, it means if you're not there, this person can do it even better, because she knows what to put in place until when you reach where you need to reach. So basically, if we look at this from that perspective, we'll find that even women, it's not that the Bible is talking about them as just a little bit under men, that they cannot do this. They can do it, because my Bible tells me that I can do all things through him who strengthens me. So it means everything that I'm allowed to do, I can do it. So it is a little bit of a misconception simply because we try to really put aside men and women. But if we are going to look at ourselves as one person, that is, as that man that God created so that he can do things well.
Yeah.
Because even when you go back to the story of creation, you find that the Bible tells us about it in terms of saying that God created the male and female. He created him. You know, what is it that God was trying to say? That this person, he's just put them in their different positions to make sure that they do all that they are given to do, but they are one. So it means somebody can do the other one's job, but they have been given that differences in doing it because they are allocated different dockets to do this.
Yeah.
So that is what we are talking about basically in terms of the Bible. So, yeah.
Yeah, you highlighted that the issue of children of God. I remember someone once told me that in the Bible, women are just there, even they are not counted. Because in the book of Luke,
yes,
where they were saying that Jesus fed 5,000 men. So alikuwa anasema that wanawake wako ni men.
They were
Women are not counted.
But what will surprise you is that they were not counted, but they were the majority. That's what history tells us. They were the majority, and that one can even be confirmed today. If you call a meeting anywhere and you don't specify who are coming, women will be in their numbers. So however much they would try to suppress the issue of women, they are always up there. Because if they come in their numbers, and so even if they are not counted, if there was anything to be done there, who do you think would do it best? The women, because there are many at the end of the day. So I think it's just a misconception, and it's also something that we're also trying to put in because we want to get the differences of our departments of, you know, of work. But that should not bring the difference as much. Yeah.
Yeah, now I want us to talk about the issue of femicide where women are being killed. There's been increase in the cases of femicide. Do you think that this thing is related to gender inequality?
Of course, I can say yes for that because I'm so sorry about the same anyway. But we know that women, we are so emotional, and most of the times we would want to do things right, especially when we know that it really affects maybe the family and the society, as we've said. And so you find that men, because maybe they would want to do things in terms of what fits me well. So they would want to do it their way. And if there is a woman who is in leadership and would want to protest against this, or would want to do it the right way, then things will not end up well. And so this is why we've seen even some of these women being killed, because they stood out maybe trying to oppose some ill that were to be done to the society. And so when this happens, the men will take their stronger side and say, okay, so we can do what we need to do with you, and so she'll be eliminated. And that is not right. So what we're trying to urge our people is that, please, we are in leadership and we can always talk about these things and solve our problems. Yeah, sure. And like, you know, when you feel that somebody is not doing what you want done, because I believe most of the time if you find that there's a case of a woman being killed, is because she was trying to protest that whatever is being done is not right. And so it should be done in the right way. And so the men ended up feeling, because you're here, you are not enabling us, or you're not allowing us to do what we want to do. So we are going to put you aside. But I would advise us and talk to us that, please, if there is a problem, we can still talk. This same woman that you'd want to kill because maybe she's not for you, what you want to be done, you can talk to her because she understands. Yeah. Women will understand you. And also, I think most women, I think very few maybe, will respect you as a man. And if there is anything you'd want to come up with, they will always try to find out which way is easier for us to solve this problem. So I know women can listen and we can talk to them, because as I said, they're still emotional even to you. When you talk to them and you try to express the reason why maybe you want this thing done in this other way, they'll listen. And sometimes they even vacate that place. If they feel maybe you are not doing the right thing and now we cannot keep on pushing and pulling, they'll leave that position so that maybe you can do what you want to do with it. But please don't kill us or don't kill them, because doing this, please, you are stealing a mother from somebody, a sister, and that is not right. So please, for anybody who would want to do this, can you talk to these ladies so that you understand each other? If it is not the same, or if you cannot understand each other, then can we just let her go instead of killing her?
Yeah, now, and in your opinion, what can we do to end this issue of gender inequality? based on the way we raise our children until they come to these leadership positions. How can we deal with this issue of gender inequality?
Okay, that's very good that we can talk about it here. And I think women or mothers, because still it boils back to us. As we are raising our children, as I've said, give them a foundation as children. Don't try to put them that this is a girl child, this is a boy child. If you put them separately like that, they'll grow like that. And when even they get to their places of work, that is what they'd want to do. So there's nothing that you're going to do about it because you raise them in the same way. So please, mothers, if you're raising your children, raise them as children. And so they know that everybody can chip in whenever something needs to be done. And so when we do this, because what we know we're expecting after these children are children here, they are babies, let me say that, they grow into children who go to school. And when they go to school, it is the same you mothers who would want them to be doctors, want them to be engineers, you want them to be pilots, you want them. So if you want them to be these people, if you didn't train them to also grow with this other boy child, as in everybody can do the other kind of job that is there, then what do you expect? Whenever she's trained and she's a pilot, when she's there, the male counterpart will say, you can't fly this, flight, let me do it. And so that's where things start going wrong. So please, if we are going to raise our children, please, let's try to raise them as children. They can know that I can do this, we can help each other in doing this. And so when you get them to school and they train for these professions, then when they go out there, they can allow each other to be in these positions. Because these people that we are raising are the same leaders that we are seeing up there. So please, can we raise them in a way that will bring them in an integral point where they know we can help each other wherever we are, so that when even they are in leadership, they will help each other.
Well, thank you so much. Our time is up for today, and today we are talking about gender inequality. I think that has really affected our society. We've seen that there's equality in leadership, in our offices, even in our religion organizations. But we hope that the government will do something, and even the leaders will do something, and parents will do their part by raising their children in a way that they will see both genders as equal. And with that, we've come to the end of our today's program, that is Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rida Chebet Kering. See you next time.
Shows bab kubwa kwa makali, movies, documentaries, series, talk shows na vipindi vya kuchangamsha, kuelimisha na kufahamisha. Ni hapa tu Maisha Television.
You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh my God.
Unachukua the best, unatazama na unaipenda. Kwa masuala ya afya, habari kemkem, ukulima, biashara, vipindi vya watoto.